What if you could keep more of your book profits, build a direct relationship with your readers, and never have to rely on Amazon again? Of course, you can probably still rely on Amazon if you wanted to. Today, we're talking about direct sales for authors. What works, what doesn't, and whether it's worth your time. So make sure that you stick around to today's podcast. Now, if you're an author, you already know how tough it can be to stand out. Winning a book award isn't just a nice addition to your resume, it's a powerful way to boost credibility, attract new readers, and increase book sales. But finding the right awards, submitting your book, and handling the process can be overwhelming, sometimes frustrating. That's where Book Award Pro comes in, my sponsors. Book Award Pro takes the guesswork out of the process, automatically matching your book with awards tailored to your genre and career goals. I personally use Book Award Pro, and it's helped me secure 43 book awards. Say it again, 43 book awards across 12 publications, including for my latest releases. I love enrolling my books in the Essentials plan and boosting submissions when I see an award that's worth going after. And more recently, I've been challenging myself to go into the review section and see if I can get free reviews in some of those areas. By the way, free reviews aren't always there, but keep an eye on your dashboard if you happen to have the Essentials plan. If you have the free plan, you're going to have to do a little bit of due diligence, a little bit of research, if you will, to see if there are some free ones there. But I'm testing it out, and so far it's working. But anyway, if you want to get your book in front of the right judges and reviewers and boost its credibility, visit dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. That's my affiliate link, which helps support the show at no extra cost for you and give your book the recognition it deserves with Book Award Pro. That's dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Big special thanks to my longtime sponsors, Book Award Pro. It's because of them that I'm able to kind of keep the lights on here and give you guys the podcast that you look forward to on a weekly basis. All right, let's jump into things. Of course, we are talking about direct sales. Now, if you're new to the business, you might have heard direct sales before. For whatever reason, when I first broke into the business over 11 years ago, whenever I'd hear direct sales, it automatically brought images to my mind of MLM companies. You know, you're peddling some supplements or skincare type products. But when it comes to the world of authorship, direct sales are actually a good thing. And in fact, direct sales for authors means selling books directly to your readers without relying on third-party retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or places like Kobo. Instead of a middleman handling sales, authors use platforms like, say, Gumroad or Payhip, that's one of my personal favorites, Shopify, BookFunnel, or even a simple PayPal checkout link to sell ebooks, print books, and audiobooks directly from their own website or storefront. So we know what direct sales are. It's become such a big deal right now in the indie author community because there are many authors that are starting to feel a little jaded by the likes of Kindle Direct Publishing or other platforms where they're getting deplatformed, or there's the fear of being deplatformed for weird guidelines. And so going direct, sure, you're going to be losing out on that pipeline of traffic you're going to get through major sites like Amazon or Kobo or Walmart or all those types of sites. But because you were removing that pipeline, removing that middleman, you are getting more of that money. And of course, the onus is on you to drive that traffic. So why should you consider direct sales? Go ahead, itemize one at a time. Higher profit margins. You're going to be keeping more revenue per book sale. Facts. It's really nice. If you happen to be doing direct sales and you're losing money more than, say, payment processors or shipping and handling, you're probably doing it wrong, because when you're doing direct sales, you'll be making considerable amount more. You also get control over pricing and discounts. So keeping in mind, like places like, say, Amazon, and you're publishing through Kindle Direct Publishing, if you want to do a discount, you need to, first of all, have your ebook enrolled in KDP Select so you can be able to do free book promotions or Kindle countdown deals. But it's rather rigid when it comes to doing any type of time-specific things for your ebook or your print book, or in some instances, your audiobook if you happen to be doing it through KDP. So you get a lot more of that flexibility. You can control that pricing. You can control the discounts. You get to control the entire narrative, and you don't have to worry about some platform telling you exactly how you should be doing it. You also get that closer reader relationship. That's the problem, is when you're selling your books through another online site, through a third-party company like KDP or Kobo Writing Life or Drafted Digital, they are the ones that have customers. You do not have customers. They're the ones that have the readers. You do not have the readers. So what ends up happening is when you want to be able to communicate with those readers that are purchasing your books through Amazon's platform or other websites, good luck. You're not going to be able to get that information. Yes, there are certain little tricks you can kind of do to track readers that are going through and buying things, but for the most part, you're not getting their direct information, like their email or their name or where they're located or their interests or their hobbies or things like that. This is where you're going to be able to shine in getting to build that relationship with readers. So you get to own that customer data. You get to build your email list, and you have direct communication with those readers, which is a huge win, because think about it in this way. Let's say you've launched your book on Amazon KDP. All right, went really well. Hooray, success. It's fantastic. But let's say you're ready to go and launch your next book. What if you want to notify all those readers that that's coming? You're kind of screwed. Unless, of course, you got the email list, which I've always told you need to have an email list. Well, with direct sales, if someone bought that same book through your website, you're able to track that customer, you're able to communicate with that customer, and you're able to send out notifications, you're able to promote upcoming publications that you have that you would make exclusively for sale on your website or through your own platform. The other thing is diversification. You're not relying solely on algorithms or policy changes. I'm looking at you, Amazon, because Amazon's algorithms are constantly changing. The policies are always changing, and sometimes they don't even tell you about it. Yeah, you're not going to have that problem if you're the boss of your own business. You're doing direct sales. Guess what? Algorithm changes on your site? Well, that's you. Change the policies on your site? Well, that's all you. So remember, you get to diversify what you're doing. You're able to be in control. You're also able to offer exclusive offers like selling signed copies or bundles or even special editions, which, by the way, if you have a readership that loves what you're doing, special editions are going to sell like gangbusters. So let me go ahead and discuss some of the best platforms for direct sales. Now, I've mentioned quite a few of these services before, so it feels like a repeat. It kind of is, but let me kind of put this whole thing together here. Easy to use platforms with no website needed. Because there are some folks out there that are like, I don't feel like dealing with any type of websites. I don't know. I'm not tech savvy. Perfect. So here are a handful of them. First one's going to be Gumroad. It's great for digital and physical book sales. It's easy to set up, and they also have the built-in email list feature. So when someone purchases a product, it'll be enrolled into an email list that you're able to communicate with them through either your dashboard in Gumroad, or you can export those emails to be able to utilize over in your own email service provider, be it MailerLite, MailChimp, AuthorLetter, so on and so forth. My preferred platform over Gumroad's nice. I've really enjoyed them for years, and I'm not punching down on them in any stretch. But I just feel like PayHip is just a little better. They've got better royalties. They've got better, like a whole better system. It just looks clean to me. With Gumroad, they're going to take 10% of your sales. Okay, remember I said there was going to be third-party people? Well, in this instance, they're going to take their 10% plus the payment processing fees. PayHip is 5%. At the free plan. If you upgrade, they'll give you 2.5%, or it's like 2%. And if you do the full like professional upgrade, which is I think like $80 or $90 per month, something like that, they will give you 0% royalty removal. You're going to get 100% of that. Remember, the whole name of the game is let's make sure that we're removing those third-party sellers. So Gumroad and PayHip. Now, the reason why, and by the way, PayHip pretty much has the same features as what Gumroad does. But they do have one integration I feel that makes me love them so much, is the fact that they are integrated with BookVault. That's a print-on-demand company based out of the UK. Stellar company. I love their print quality. So far, I've sold a good handful of books through my PayHip store, and I literally have to do nothing. They handle all the stuff, and the cool thing is I get 100% all profits that goes through BookVault by way of PayHip. So That's kind of nice. The other one, of course, is going to be Letterpress. I've talked about Letterpress exhaustively. In fact, this past week over on my main channel, I interviewed the marketing and community lead, Nate Gillick from Letterpress. It is designed specifically for serialized fiction and direct reader support. Now, it's not only just for serialized fiction. You could put your fiction, you could put your nonfiction, you could put any types of books, but it is primarily just for ebooks. With this platform, unlike the previous ones I mentioned, sure, the previous ones you can do digital downloads, whether it be an ebook or an audiobook. And then with PayHip, you had the print on demand feature. Okay, good, fantastic. Letterpress is all ebook. And here's the best part. There is a 100% royalty. 100%. The only exception to that rule is if Letterpress themselves sell one of your books. So if they, for whatever reason, advertise something on their website, or someone happens to land on your book for whatever reason by way of them recommending, they'll take 10%. Now, if another author that's on that platform recommends, then Letterpress will take 10% and that author will take 5%. So the lowest you'll ever get is 85%. But if you're just doing direct sales, 100% all the way, except for payment processor details. So with the payment processors, that's where they're going to get you. And normally you're looking at most payment processors being anywhere from like 2.9% as much as 5%, plus like a 49-cent per transaction fee. Okay, minimal amount. Now, the reason why I bring up payment processors is because there is another service that I really love. It's StoryOrigin. Now, StoryOrigin is a book marketing tool for authors. So they're able to go and do newsletter swaps, group promos, advanced reader copy teams. There's so much they can do, but they can also provide the way for you to sell ebooks through their platform. They'll host the ebooks, they'll distribute them for you when someone orders them, and they will manage all that stuff. They integrate with a payment processor called Lemon Squeezy. Now with Lemon Squeezy, that is a 5% 5% processing fee, plus I think it was might have been a 35-cent or maybe it was a 49-cent per transaction fee. So it's still rather modest, but the beautiful thing about Lemon Squeezy is that if for some reason you sell your ebook overseas where VAT applies, that's value added tax, they will handle that for you. Places like PayPal or Stripe, they don't so much do that. It becomes a little bit of a headache, and you're going to have to pay more to your CPA, and it just becomes ugly. But with StoryOrigin, they thought ahead and they said, hey, this Lemon Squeezy platform, they worked out a good deal, 5% plus the transaction fee, and then you're all set. You can be able to sell through them. And by the way, it's dead simple to get it all set up through StoryOrigin. Now, if you're selling from your own website, there are a variety of ways you can do it. Now, Shopify is the big one. A lot of people always hear Shopify. And by the way, this is not sponsored by Shopify. I don't even know anybody at Shopify, and much less, I used it once before, and dang it, that stuff's expensive. And so that's one of the reasons why you don't see me often using or talking about it. They provide you a full storefront, you get automated payments, and you get professional branding. Now, the nice thing with Shopify is it will integrate with Lulu Direct, which Lulu is a print-on-demand company here established in North Carolina in the United States. And then, of course, Book Vault is another one that works with Shopify. The big issue you're going to run into, though, with Shopify is, they're going to give you a nice little storefront that you can use. And if you happen to have a YouTube channel that's fully monetized, Shopify actually integrates with your YouTube channel, and you can have a merch shelf right below your videos where it'll show all of your products. So if you have some of your print books there inside your store or any type of merch, you'll be able to advertise that on your YouTube channel. The other one that is free is WooCommerce. Now, that's a free WordPress plugin. It's essentially the same thing as Shopify, but I've heard that it's got a steep learning curve and a few frustrations, but it's got a flexible setup. It integrates with blogs and author websites. Now, the other tool you're going to watch out for, and this is going to probably be for somebody who's a little bit more tech savvy or someone who has a webmaster that knows their way around a good website and getting it all developed right, is API-based sales. Now, this advanced option is for the tech savvy authors only who want full customization. Again, platforms like Lulu Direct and Book Vault both have API-based sales. I believe even the company Blurb has that too. It's rather limited in that regard. Now, keep in mind, though, that if you are doing Shopify or WooCommerce and you don't want to have that direct integration with some of those companies, because keep in mind, those companies are only going to collect how much it costs to print the book and how much it costs to ship and fulfill that. Okay? So you're getting 100% of the profits no matter what. But let's just say, for instance, you're like, no, Dale, I don't like Lulu, I don't like Book Vault. The nice thing is you can either A, order your stock from a offset printer or a digital printer like, say, I don't know, Givington's, or I think it's called Bookmarks by Givington or something like that. Let's see here. Puffer Print is another one. Print Nation was another one, a company based out of Las Vegas. There are a number of different digital publishers you can reach out to, or offset printers that will be able to fulfill those things for you. The problem is, though, you're going to need to ship out each of those copies individually if you happen to be doing print on demand. Now, as far as selling audiobooks direct, this one, it becomes a little bit more challenging. Yeah, you could do it through PayHip, but the problem is you have to just deliver an audio file. Just a simple MP3 or even a WAV file is fine. But a lot of people aren't going to be able to put that into their audiobook listener and play that. They're going to have to play it like it's a normal track, and that can be a little bit of a hassle. But there are companies like BookFunnel. Now, BookFunnel is essentially the competitors to StoryOrigin, but one of the things that BookFunnel has locked down that StoryOrigin hasn't is doing direct sales for audiobooks. They handle the audiobook delivery, and they also handle digital rights management, free downloads. So this means that it's not going to lock out people if they happen to purchase your audiobook from using it across other devices. Now, I briefly touched on PayHip and Gumroad. Also works well for audiobook sales with direct file delivery. Bear in mind, though, it's not going to be an audiobook file that's going to be something they can load up into, say, their Audible player or their Libro.fm player or their Libby player. They're going to need to listen to it as a regular thing. So that's the one challenge in that area. Now, there are ways that you can hack direct sales. Say, for instance, you're looking at some of these costly options like Shopify, and you're going, Dale, I don't have that money. That's okay. Good friend of mine, and I just big kudos and shout out to her. I know when she first broke into the business is Monique Joyner Seedlack. Mojo is so brilliant. Back in the day when she first started her site, she didn't have the money to invest in things like, say, Shopify. So instead, what she would build her web pages and just create a PayPal checkout link. With each one of those books, someone could click on that checkout link. It would whisk them away over to PayPal to where they can just do simple direct payments. And as soon as that payment would come through, then they would go ahead and get that file. Now, it's really not too hard, but I will say that it's a little too complex for me to go ahead inside this little podcast here. So what I'd say is if you're interested in doing a PayPal checkout link, just do a Google search. Dead simple. You can also do something like, say, any type of low-tech option for taking orders. It could be something like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I don't care what it would be. And then maybe have people go over to Google Forms. They would fill out the Google Forms. After that Google form is done being filled out, they would be presented with that PayPal checkout link, and then boom, it would be up to you to fulfill that order. Again, there's a little bit of that extra steps, but it is free, so this means that you're going to have to probably pay your dues just a little bit before you could start considering some of the more premium options like the Shopifys, like the WooCommerces. Well, WooCommerce is technically free, like any of these types of things until you can afford that. So you're able to sell enough in this free way and then upgrade to those other ways. Now, the challenges and considerations that you need to kind of think about going into this is discoverability. There is no built-in marketplace, so you are solely responsible for driving the traffic. This is what turns off a lot of people from doing direct sales. But one thing I would just encourage is that don't be completely discouraged by something like that. You might be a new author now, but in another decade from now, if enough people travel to your site and purchase enough books, it's going to make it worthwhile. And sometimes these steps, folks, it literally takes a matter of minutes setting these things up. It's not that hard to make a PayPal checkout link. It's not that hard to set up WooCommerce or even Shopify. I've done that myself. It's easy to do it through StoryOrigin. So getting that set up for the future is going to help you out in securing more readers and bringing and building awareness. Because I will tell you, it feels great to get book sales through platforms like Amazon or Kobo or any number of these ones, Apple, Barnes and Noble, go on and so forth here. But it feels even better when they do it directly through your site, because this means that they've trusted you enough to part ways with their money on your site, not some really big world-renowned retailer. And that right there speaks volumes. You also have the responsibility for marketing. Of course, if you want to build awareness, you're going to have to do ads. You do tap into your email lists. Social media are just essential. So that way you're just driving more traffic to it. You're also responsible for customer service and delivery. You got to handle the refunds. You got to handle the technical issues. You got to do all the things with digital rights management if that is a concern to you. There's also the trust factor, as I'd mentioned. New readers may hesitate to buy directly without knowing the author. Remember, future-proof yourself. Get it set up now, so that way later, as readers start to know, like, and trust you, they're going to be more apt to buy your products through your website rather than those major online retailers. Will you miss out on that sale on a platform like, say, Amazon and drop a bit inside your relevance? Yes, but I'm going to tell you something that makes a huge difference in this world, especially if you're trying to be a full-time author like I am doing. It is going to be that bank is way better than rank. I don't care about my Amazon rank. I literally don't. My book is everywhere, so this means it's being sold everywhere. So if that rank is not all that great, that's fine. So long as I'm getting paid, I am a happy man. I'm not sitting here trying to go, well, I got #1 bestseller, blah, blah, blah. No, go to bed. I know. If my bills are being paid, I'm a happy man, and I hope that you feel that way too. And if you don't, that's fine. That's totally fine. Also, bear in mind there is going to be some transaction fees. Yeah, I told you, payment processing tools like Stripe, PayPal, all those will have some type of transaction fees. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Probably the closest thing that comes to perfect is going to be LaterPress if you're doing any direct sales, because they give you 100% minus the payment processing fees. That's something they can't handle. That's not their fault. They're trying to deliver the money to you in the best way possible. All right, so how do you start selling direct today? Choose your sales model. Is it going to be a standalone platform, or are you going to be integrated into your website? You could do both, but I wouldn't recommend that, because you want to have just like one spot where people can pick up all your direct sales of your books. What I like to do, most instances is going to be I create a universal book link through books2read.com, and BookLinker is another good one through a company called Genius Link. With those universal book links, you can be able to create all the different links that will send out to people to the different retail platforms. And what I do with my Books to Read link is I will always put my PayHip link in there. So that way people can go and purchase my books direct from me through PayHip. Also on my website, in the past, what I would do is that PayPal checkout link, or just something simple like Shopify had worked out nicely. So just think about standalone platform versus integrating with your website. Are you going to use a platform like PayHip or Gumroad, or are you going to use your website? Speaking of website, give it a shot. Try both. See which one works the best, which one converts to more sales. You're going to have to set up a simple storefront. So you're going to have to essentially go through, understand PayHip, Gumroad, or even PayPal checkout links. Yes, you're going to have to do some Googling. I don't have a tutorial on setting those things up, but there are tons online today. Rest assured, you'll find them. You're also going to need to drive traffic to your store using social media, email marketing, and collaborations. And of course, you're going to be responsible for building that direct relationship with readers. So offer exclusive deals. Create some type of community engagement, be it community posts on your website, be it Discord server, things like that. Keep it to where you can get those people that are buying books off your platform, keep them in your universe, your platform, and continue to remarket and retarget them accordingly. And of course, you're going to need to experiment and iterate. Start with a low-cost solution and scale as needed. Hey, as we start to wrap up things here today, winning a book award can do wonders for your credibility in book sales, but finding the right one is a hassle, folks. Book Award Pro automates the process, matching your book with the best awards and submitting it for you. I've won over 43 book awards across 12 books, and you can start your journey just like me today at dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Special thanks to my sponsors. My final thoughts. Is direct sales worth it? For some authors out there, absolutely. I would say the folks out there that are stuck to, let's say, KDP Select, an exclusivity deal, just bear in mind that even though the ebook might be exclusive, you still have the print book and audiobook that you could put everywhere else. So make sure that you make that available on your website or through one of your storefronts on Payhip, Gumroad, and the like. So the opportunity to keep more of your profits and own your audience is just too good to ignore here, folks. Explore at least one direct sales option this year. I want you to make that promise with me right now. If you drive in the car and you're listening to this audio podcast, stop, pull it on over. Think about that sales option you're going to go ahead and do. Try it, put it out there. And then just give a gentle nudge in the next email newsletter you send out to your readers or through social media. Instead of saying, hey, go buy my book on Amazon. No, screw Amazon. They get enough traffic. How about they go and buy it over on your website? I'd like to know, are you selling direct? If not, what's stopping you? Join me over on Discord, over at dalelinks.com/Discord. I'd love to hear from you and how you're doing with your direct sales. You'll know if direct sales is right for you if you want to keep more of your earnings, build stronger reader relationships, and have complete control over your book business. Direct sales, folks, quite frankly, is a game changer. While it requires more effort in marketing and driving traffic, the long-term benefits can far outweigh the downsides. Hey, we're going to continue this 12-part series in the Ultimate Indie Author's Guide to Selling More Books here on this podcast. In fact, next week, we're going to be talking about how to sell audiobooks, even if you can't afford a narrator. Yeah, you heard me right. Even if you can't afford a narrator, I'm going to talk more about that and how to sell more audiobooks next week. Make sure you tune in. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I thank you so much for tuning in. Take care now.